Hi. The question is, who am I talking to? Are you a woman who's delighted you're going to the hospital? Do you like all the things they do? Feel safe? Trust everybody? Are you a woman who doesn't want to be in the hospital? Are you a woman who's ambivalent? Are you a woman who likes aspects of it and not other aspects? Who are you? Are you having twins? Breeches? Is this your fifth baby or your first? Are you going to labor? Want a vaginal birth? One that might end up in an unplanned or emergency cesarean? Are you having an elective cesarean? Who are you? I don't know who you are. You're like the women I worked with in the early 1970s and 80s. You're who you are. And so that gives me an ability to talk to you because you're who I talk to, and you talk to me. We didn't have a lot in common. You may have a different color skin. You obviously are not the same age. You're going to live in another part of the world, speak another language, have different feelings about childbirth. You have religions and attitudes and all that stuff. That's what I had to deal with. You may have wanted to talk to me about your birth. I couldn't have cared less. Don't know much about it. Don't have any control over it. So why did I get involved in this? Because ultimately, what we all told each other, because I had given birth in 1970, was I had to do the activity of birthing my baby. Nobody could do it for me. I mean, I can remember in laboring with my daughter and thinking, can I please just take a lunch break? Can't he just do it for me for half an hour? Promise I'll come back. We couldn't. We had to keep going. Pregnancy already taught us that we didn't have any control, but birth was this fraction of time, and we had less control, and it was so intense. And, even if it didn't hurt, it was intense, and it's just intense. So the families I worked with, we just wanted to gain some control, and control meant that we behaved in a way that looked to ourselves and others as though we were coping. It's a behavior thing. And we learned lots of things. We learned that you don't have to have good thoughts in order to behave really well. And we learned that just because some of us had children, and we knew that we didn't always like what our kids did, and we thought all sorts of terrible things, and we couldn't act on those things. So why should we think we should have a positive feeling about birth? And why do we feel that if we have a negative feeling that we can't behave as though we're coping if we have skills? Behaving isn't about being a good little girl to them. Behaving is about the dignity we place on our own behaviors. Deal with that all the time. How drunk did you get? Right? How careless were you driving the car? How rude were you to somebody for something? I mean, we're just human beings, and you're pregnant. 100% of you are going to give birth one way or another, and birthing better families develop these skills. So I get a chance to pass them on. So what did women and I learn? We had to do it. We had to do the activity of birthing our baby. And God, we just did it better when we were skilled. I mean, just imagine, you're now getting all the birthing better skills compared to when we were learning. There was no order to learning. We didn't say, okay, let's just pick apart all of communication, or let's just really understand all of our body right away. It was a trial and error, putting things together. I held it together in my head because people asked me to. Why? Because we worked together, and I worked on bodies, and we picked this stuff apart. And so we learned to birth better, hugely. I mean, I can't tell you, for all of us who labored, it just changed our lives. If we applied the skills really towards the end of pregnancy with the Braxton Hicks contractions, and just got more mature at what we were doing, and recognized that we just had this huge bag of skills we could pick and choose from, and that our minds were very, very clear and got clearer and clearer and clearer. And the negative voice could be there, the positive voice could be there. They could do terrible things to us that we didn't like. We could have feelings we didn't like. But boy, I'll tell you, when we applied these skills and used these skills, and when we knew our body and had prepared our body for birth and knew that both our birth canal and our pelvis and our breathing and our ability to soften and get in positions, we knew that we could pay attention to whether our baby liked it or not. When we knew all these things, when we labored, we went into birth with a huge amount of confidence. Even though we might be scared and nervous and uncertain, there's no way to know what your birth's going to be like. We're all hardwired for that anxiety. We didn't always know if we were going to have a good birth. We didn't always know if the outcome was going to be good. The people who developed birthing better were medically high risk. I didn't ask them to be that way. I didn't like that. I didn't have any medical training. But they were very, very people who wanted to be skilled. Most of the vast majority came from very deeply religious faiths. I don't have any religious faith. There's no reason why they should pick me. But we realized we're all human beings. We all blinked, we all coughed, we all tightened up our rectum, men and women alike. And pregnancy was a physical activity with an object growing inside us, and birth was the activity we did to get the object out, one way or another. So we could easily attribute skills to it if we could develop them, and we developed them. There's no order for you to learn these skills. Just pick and choose what you want and learn them to the depth that you feel that you can apply them. In other words, you don't want to be thinking to yourself, well, I didn't really go over those 4 ways that you breathe, so, I really didn't quite get it. Go over the 4 ways all humans breathe. Go over the variations. Learn for yourself what are your breathing variations that will allow you to cope and manage unpleasant sensations. It's easy to cope and manage when things don't bother you. If you feel that you don't have a great relationship with your partner, that's okay. The teamwork skills will help you have pragmatic relationships. If you're birthing on your own, that's okay. Just dig deeper. You have to be your own guide in this. Or, like me, I just told the people who were around me, who I'd never seen before in my life. When I gave birth to my last child in 1982, and they were 8 weeks premature, I ended up in a hospital I didn't know, people I didn't know, and I was on my own. And the people there, if I needed them to help me, I explained to them how they could help me, and they helped me. They just never seen a woman birth on her own, so they let me do it, even with an 8-week premature baby. So my behavior changed their behaviors. Because when I went to the hospital, my behavior of coping and managing relaxed them. They're human beings. They're men and women. There are sisters and brothers and mothers and fathers and aunts and uncles and sons and daughters. They have a job. They went to school for the job to learn the skills, and now they're applying their skills. That's who they are, human beings. They're not doing our job. We're doing our job. We have to have skills to do our job, not their job, our job. And when we go in there doing our job and we look like we're coping, managing, dealing with, handling, working through, staying on top of and feeling in control, it relaxes them. That makes sense. If we're in there looking freaked and overwhelmed, they don't want us to suffer. And if that suffering it looks bad, they want us to take pain relief. And if a problem occurs or a risk occurs, they want to monitor it. And if it looks like it's a problem, they want to do something. So our first line of being and behaving is to be skilled when we go into the hospital. You don't have to go to the hospital at any particular time. If you've learned the internal work and you and your partner can check yourself, go in the hospital when you feel like it. We were told back then, wait until your contractions were 3 minutes apart, a minute long, and we were assumed to be about 3 centimeters. They didn't want us in there any earlier. In New Zealand, where we have a midwifery model of care, the midwives have set themselves up at 24/7 care to the woman and responsive when a woman wants her to be there. So we have women who work as midwives who sit for bloody hours. What are they doing there? Why are they there? There isn't any reason to be there. If the birth coach is there, they're working together. If you're frightened there's a problem, then you get in touch with somebody or you go. But if it's just tooling along, you just keep doing it. And when you feel you want to go to the hospital, you go to the hospital. You keep using your skills. There's going to be a fiddle when you get to the hospital. Keep using your skills. Just tell them, finish this contraction, then I'll talk to you. Or if they insist that they do things during the contractions, just use your skills. Just commit to working moment to moment through your baby's birth journey. That's your job. It's never going to change. There were times in my birth that I wasn't certain what they wanted or didn't want. And I just went, I can't figure it out now. I'm just going to breathe in and breathe out. So I just kept using my skills. And the skills are so vast that I could pick and choose because I could feel my baby in my body. I could check myself. The doctor then just wanted to check afterwards. I didn't care. And when labor for me notched up a peg and I was uncertain where I was, I just checked myself again for change. There was always change. I didn't like labor. Would I have had a long labor and had a not unplanned or emergency cesarean? Not from a long labor. I have short labors. They're very intense. I feel like I'm going to die. I use my skills. So whatever's happening to you, if you're going in for an elective surgery, you're laboring on the way to the hospital, use your relaxation and breathing skills together. You're in transition or you're being prepped, use your breathing relaxation, touch relaxation. Your positive thinking, you're working with your baby, staying engaged during the birth. That's your birth. Keep using your skills. If you labor at first and then you have an unplanned or emergency cesarean, don't skip a beat. It's still your baby's birth. Just keep using your skills. You may not like what's happening to you. Just keep using your skills. We cannot stress this enough. When you get into a car and drive, you don't question whether you use your skills. Under any circumstance, don't question it while you're doing the activity of birthing your baby. That's just what we're asking you to do. Commit to using your skills.